you were really loud. I was like, oh,
Was it really loud?
well, this is my second Zoom call of the day, and I had the volume turned up for the first one.
Mm.
I did Dawn's class out in the garage. I did in the garage. She's back in Michigan,
Oh, nice.
and so I just joined in, and so
But you
I
had
could
to crank up the volume so you could hear her, yeah?
over the music I was playing. So
Oh, that's cool that she can still do her work remotely. That must feel good for her.
yeah, she's been doing Zoom. I don't know, since the last time we shut down the gyms in November. I can't even remember now.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, that
So
she can
it's-
be in Michigan and doing her classes in
Yeah.
Portland must feel kind of cool.
You can be
Yeah.
anywhere. That's the beauty of this thing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you have a group of people that are willing to follow, I mean, I think even if the gyms reopen, there's a few people that take it that would probably still do with her. Like one of the women's a mom, and she's, as long as her kids are out of school, she's like, I couldn't even make it to the gym right now if I wanted to.
Right.
He's like, I just set my kids up with work and I come down here for 40 minutes. And as long as there's not, so total breakdown, I can work out
Right.
and then go back. But otherwise going to the gym's another hour, or whatever that is. So yeah, it's good. It was fun.
Yeah, and having a live class is different than just watching a video or something,
Correct.
right? Because
Yes, because
there's a little bit more accountability there. If you're
yeah, she's talking to you, and Charlie and myself, just like if we're in the gym where we can be talkative depending on the workout. Charlie's always talkative. Sometimes I work a little harder and I don't have volume for words. Depends on the workout.
Right.
So, but you can, just encourage each other back and forth. So you hear that.
Right.
That's kind of nice.
So do all of you then have your video on and audio on, I assume?
Yeah. So one of the guys today, he's been a member of the gym longer than I have been. He joined for the first time today. Apparently the other person, one of the other coaches sent out a email to remind people that the Zoom classes were available. And he's like, oh, I didn't know it was out there. So I mean, he's at home too. So he's like, oh, I'll do it. And so he muted his. I guess my point is, Dawn, I didn't know that until afterwards. Dawn can see that. I mean, if you guys mute yours right now, I'll notice it. But when I'm working out, I'm not really looking. I see
You're not really tracking what everybody else is doing. Yeah.
I can see the squares. I can see they're moving, and that's about it.
Right.
So, yeah, if you're interested, I can have her send you the link. Yeah.
But then you need, for your workout though, you need a whole bunch of equipment, right?
No, these are basically all at home. Like it's all like today was all body mass. It's mainly all body mass. If you have some equipment, you use it to make it harder. But
yeah, no, thank you. Don't need to be harder. I have enough body mass. I don't need any equipment.
Yeah, so most of the stuff it's like today was 25 minutes long, and it gets tiring after a while.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
we
I
just did.
some...
Yeah. So if you're interested, send her an email. You don't have to join the gym. They're offering her, they're letting her, because it's kind of the way it is. You could just do drop-in fees. So.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I think right now while she's in Michigan, it's 11:30 on Monday and 1:30 on Thursdays when she's doing them. So
do most people take time out of their workday to do that, Chris? Or probably a range of circumstances, I guess.
Yeah, I think so. The one of the women that wasn't there today because she can't go that early, she can make the 1:30 because she gets out of work, or she switched her schedule so she could do it.
Yeah.
Obviously, it doesn't matter to me. Charlie's not working. Pia's at home, so it's taking a break from the kids.
Right.
And I don't know about the other guy, and the other woman's retired too. So yeah, I guess that's the problem. If you don't have a call, like one of our friends, she'll jump in, but it just depends whether she has a work call.
Right.
If she can get out of it and do it. So yeah.
Well, I still think it's cool that as a fitness person, you can be away from home and still do your classes.
Yes.
That must be a big change in how she thinks about her work. Yeah.
Yeah, it took her, she's getting used to it. It took her a little while to, it's different, just like for all of us to do this versus be physically next to those people.
Well,
She didn't
that's
really
true.
like it at first, but
Yeah.
eventually she's like, oh, okay, because she did it with Fred Meyer for a month or so, because Fred Meyer paid her to do that, and then they're like, oh,
Mhm.
we're not paying you anymore to do Zoom classes. You know, our employees can either work on their own, or there's, you know, too bad.
Hmm.
Nice corporate culture.
Hmm.
And so then she offered it through Woodstock. So that's kind of where, that's only, she's doing it there. And the Fred Meyer class, when she was doing it, she probably had 12 to 15 people that wanted to do it. And then even afterwards, she did it for about 3 months, and they just paid her, you know, like like so much a class.
Right.
And then when we came back in September and October, she's like, is anybody really interested? And she didn't really get a lot of feedback. So I guess they found other ways to stay active.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Dana, still no upgrade in the internet, the modem?
The little Wi-Fi pod arrived, so
Oh, like a little
now I have to
hotspot thing.
detach. Yeah, I have to take everything apart now and then put it back in different places, and I'm just like, I mean, it'll
It's a pain
probably
in the
take an
butt.
hour, even though it looks like you should be able to just do it right away, but there's always something that comes up. So I don't feel like wasting my hour. I'm just gonna sit here for a little while.
Give it to Kevin.
I'll do it. I promise. Nobody wants to do it. Everybody's like, today is a really weird day, really weird vibe day. I think we're all super tired.
Yeah, I was really tired yesterday. I don't know. Everybody has those moments where you're just like,
Yeah.
things get
Yeah.
too overwhelming. But I drove down to see my son yesterday.
Oh.
I can actually show you a picture of him
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
commune and
How was it?
living the life. Can you see him there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Hi.
It's warm there.
Yeah,
It's a great photo.
It was a nice sunny afternoon, and this is the backside of their land, and this area is called the Clearing, and it was a 10-acre property adjacent to Twin Oaks, and the neighbors clear cut it before they sold it, and Twin Oaks had the money to buy it, but it had already been clear cut, so it's kind of next to a wooded area, but it's nice. The sunset is kind of right over his shoulder. So
Okay.
they have chairs and people, they have hammocks there's kind of woods around the edge of it. They have hammocks where you can like lie and watch the sunset. And I guess people camp out there as well. So it was kind of neat to see him on his
That's-
turf. So that's where we had our
I
visit,
haven't
was
heard of-
sitting on the side of that hill.
Nice.
That's really sweet.
Yeah.
What about, I have this big piece of forested land that I own and I'm going to sell it. But first I'm going to take all the timber and I'm going to chop it down and sell that too.
Yep. Yeah, I know.
Assholes.
I was like, why did they do that? And Z was like, maximize profit on their land. So
Yep.
There's people here. I worked with some guys that had to pay taxes on it, or there's some kind of tax revenue on it. Because he had not old growth, but secondhand growth fur. And basically they're like, it's worth money. So, you know, he could sell it if he wanted to. Like 10 acres or something like that.
Right. Right.
Yeah. A lot of people have.
Not something I would do unless I really need the money, but
Yeah.
because we need more trees, don't we? Dana,
I think
looking at
that
you.
I think that they clear cut it and were thinking they would sell it to a developer to
Oh,
develop, to put some homes in, and Twin Oaks was able to raise the money to purchase it. So it didn't get, they didn't have like a
bunch of
couple
neighbors.
of, yeah, I mean, it's pretty remote. I don't know that they would have like a suburban subdivision next to them, but they might have a couple of houses.
Mhm.
It's probably like, I don't know, 7 or 8 miles from a little tiny downtown that is like a strip with,
Sorry.
a gas station, to a
Mhm.
pharmacy,
liking it.
restaurants.
He's been there a few months now, right?
Yeah. I mean, this is the second time I've been down to visit. I think I mean, he was saying to me as well that like his world is becoming so insular living there, right? So I was all like, because we're such political junkies and are always talking about the news and, you know, X, Y, and Z. And I mean, he just was like, I don't listen to the news that much. Like we hear the headlines, but we don't, like, it's not as present in our lives. Like we sit at meals and we talk about the work we did today and whether we're going to sell the cows or keep them or like who, you know, like, but it's very insular. So, but so far
Sounds
he's
nice,
enjoying
actually.
that. Yeah, exactly. He's enjoying that so far.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good right around now.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to be said about being unplugged from everything like that. And
Yeah.
do they
Yeah.
have like general conversations about, I don't know, philosophical things? And
I know that I mean, they have a huge library and people are reading stuff in the library. And I mean, they have internet services there. So it's not like people are completely not reading the news. But I don't know if they have, I think if they have philosophical debates, it's more around, well, I imagine it is around kind of like governance and principles within the community as well.
yeah,
So it sounds like there's a lot of time spent talking about those kinds of issues. But the whole dairy crew is leaving. And so they're at this big decision point about whether they're going to sell the cows and shut down the dairy or try to train more people as dairy crew. So I got a long
seems like they'd
earful
be
about
able
that.
to make a lot of
That's
money
political.
from that. I mean,
They consume most of what they
produce.
yeah.
Now they do a milk and cheese.
why would
and-
They do milk and cheese, yeah.
Then you'd have to buy all that stuff, though. I mean,
Or
if
you'd
you
have
don't-
to
if you're
stop
not
eating
producing
it. Or it would
Yeah,
not.
no.
I was
cheese
like,
is everything.
I was like, how much
Well,
cheese
you're
do
a
you guys have?
vegetarian. Oh, wait, you're not a vegan. You're not a vegan, you're a vegetarian.
Yeah, he's not
Yeah.
vegan. He said that they also slaughtered a cow 2 weeks ago.
Hmm.
So he had a big decision about whether he was going to eat the beef that was raised and slaughtered on Twin Oaks or not. And he decided, yes, he was. Yes, indeed, he was. So he's back to that. I think they
Yeah,
just
I
don't
guess
have
that
enough
would be
labor
a-
to run everything, or at least at the
Yeah.
scale that of the number of cows that they have.
How many do they have?
How many do they
They have
have?
15.
Yeah.
So.
I wouldn't mind feeding and milking them.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to kill them. That's
Yeah. Yeah, it sounded like the killing of it was something else.
Yeah. I mean, they're not stupid animals. They're very curious. They're very,
Yeah.
they're very social and group oriented. I mean, that incident, I'm sure, was traumatic for the 14
somebody.
cows that are left.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was thinking
Yeah,
of the people
it's,
who'd been caring for the cows. I'm sure it.
Yeah. They're kind of fun to milk. I mean, I can see how it would be tiring if you had to milk 15 every fucking day. But aside from that, it's fun.
I mean, I'm sure they have milk machines. Are you talking about hand milking them? They don't
Yeah.
hand milk 15 cows a day. I can't imagine that.
No, you wouldn't.
No
I'm
way.
surprised that they have a milking machine. Those are expensive.
Well,
I mean, that's a
otherwise,
big
it's not a
investment.
surprise that the
It's
crew
not
has
that
left.
long ago that it was being done in hand. Even where I grew up, I mean, Dawn's parents had cows and they did it by hand. They didn't have,
Yeah.
I mean, they had a couple cows.
A
They did it
couple.
by hand when you
Yeah.
were a
But
kid?
if you have more than a
Wow.
few people milking, yeah, they did it by hand. But you're right, 15, so I don't know how many people would have to do that. And it's not, I mean,
I
it
don't
was,
think it would be that many. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm thinking like, okay, so if you have a milking machine, machines, plural, they're expensive. So you get rid of all your cows, then you've got to try to figure out how you can sell secondhand milking
Yeah.
equipment.
Yeah.
That seems like that's a big decision to make for a group, for
Yeah.
a commune.
Yeah.
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 most people are leaving. They just need to, put out an ad for milkers.
Well, that's the problem is that it's so difficult for them to bring in new labor with COVID. So that becomes the real, they've got a labor problem right now because when people leave, they can't easily replace them.
How many people
And
are
there's-
leaving. That's the crew that does works.
I
the
think
50.
four out of maybe 6 of the dairy crew are leaving.
Wow.
We could have Zion as a you know, so we could interview him about
Yes,
Yeah.
I'm totally intrigued with his living situation.
Yeah, exactly. We want to chime in on the dairy decision of whether
Come here.
Anyhow.
Yeah, that seems a lot healthier than the farms by where my mom lives. There are
Mhm.
these massive things of like 3,000 to 4,000 cows that don't move.
Oh
They
yeah,
just milk them and feed them and milk them and feed them, and
yeah.
to the point where they were making so much milk. This is probably about 4 or 5 years ago that they just had to dump it on the ground. They couldn't sell it enough.
Wow.
And milk was going for
Yeah.
like $1 a gallon.
That's really sad, actually. It's
Well, yeah, for the cows, and
Not-
that milk
it's-
can't be very good. I mean, the cows can't be very healthy. They're not
no,
moving.
To
their
not
quality
to
of
be
life
to
would
be
suck if
living
they're
in
not put
that.
out in
Yeah,
pasture.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't go anywhere. They don't.
Yeah,
they're
and
not
the
even-
milk would taste different too. I mean, if
Yeah.
you're not feeding them what they're supposed to be eating, their milk is going to taste weird.
But would you even
Not that
know?
I like
That's
milk
what we grew
anymore
up on.
anyway.
I mean, the farms around there
Yeah,
when we grew up,
Grass
big
is
one
best.
was like 100. There was, I mean, 100 cattle, 100, 110. That was big. Most were like 50 to 60.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 4,000. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's the machines, right? They just sit there
Right.
and
I mean, that milk must be used as well for a lot of cheese and, you know, must
have no
be
idea. It must be. I don't know. It's
processed.
some company from. I think it was Ireland, but I think it might be Holland now that owns it. It's not even an American company that owns.
Mm.
They have like 3 or 4 of them around the area.
Hmm.
So,
That's too
So-
bad.
Hmm.
I'll-
Okay, well, shall we get going today? I did a cursing one today because it had been a while. I think this must
Well,
have
since
been.
you've cursed, or
Oh, well, yeah, maybe I haven't been cursing that much, but it's been a while since we've done one.
That's true.
well,